When new shows and movies come out and fictional characters are race and gender swapped, people get upset because you can tell writers and executive producers don't really care about the source material and they only care about looking progressive and with the times. But when characters based on real people are race and gender swapped, it almost always goes terribly for the companies doing it. And Netflix has decided to do it with their newest Viking Valhalla show, as if no one would question their casting decisions, and they are getting roasted for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or supporting the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I have a few different things to show off, but I wanted to start off with this Bounding into Comics article. It says Netflix's Viking Valhalla race and gender swaps a historically Norwegian and male ruler. Building upon the groundwork laid by the history-bending castings of Anne Boleyn and Queen Charlotte, the historically white and male Norwegian ruler Jarl Håkon has both been race and gender swapped for his appearance in Netflix's Vikings Valhalla, and this isn't a series I really heard that much about, I'm going to be honest. I feel like there wasn't a lot of promotional material, there weren't a lot of interviews done for this show. I just feel like it very quietly released and there wasn't a lot of talk about it, which is pretty suspicious coming from Netflix, because usually when they're trying to get people excited for a series, especially a new series based off of another TV show, you'd think that they would do a lot of marketing, be very loud about this series, but maybe they knew that there was going to be quite a bit of backlash. A Netflix exclusive sequel to history's original Viking series, Vikings Valhalla picks up 100 years after Ivar the Boneless began the Norse invasion of England and focuses on the European clash between Christianity and paganism beliefs, as well as the end of the Viking Age. This for me is a show that's right up my alley. I really love learning about Vikings. This is the type of show that I'd probably end up watching, but of course, they just had to do something with this series to make it unappealing. It says introduced in the series' premiere episode and portrayed by Danish pop jazz singer Carolyn Henderson, Jarl Håkon is depicted as the benevolent and wise ruler of the Kattegat region in Denmark, itself shown as an open haven for people of various faiths and ethnicities during a time of conflict based on these attributes. I personally do not know anything about this pop jazz singer actress. I don't have anything against her. I don't know if she's an amazing actress or if she's a poor actress. All I know is that this is who they decided to go for here. It says, though the character has been regularly put forth by the series cast and crew as an entirely fictional character, given both the character's name and role in the story, it's clear that Henderson's Jarl Håkon was based on a real-world Norse ruler of the same name. Of course, they tried to play it off as it's really not that big of a deal that we threw this person into the mix simply because this is a fictional character. It's not supposed to be completely historically accurate, but that is a lie because this character is based on a real person. A lot of people dismiss race and gender swaps of fictional characters, but people feel very differently when they're characters based on real people, even if they're only loosely based on someone. Look at the Anne Boleyn show. That got terrible ratings because they took a character and changed who she was. This was the Anne Boleyn show from 2021. It got a 50% critic score and an 8% average audience score, and people were furious that they took Anne Boleyn, they race swapped her, they changed up her story, changed the way that she's always been portrayed, and the same thing is happening with Vikings Valhalla. If we go on over to Rotten Tomatoes, the score isn't as low, but this show has only been out for about a week at this point. The critic score, of course, is an 89% because critics love when companies do things like this. They think it's stunning and brave, but the audience score is pretty low at this point, sitting at a 60% with just over 500 ratings. Now, I did point this out in my previous live stream, but there are people here that either absolutely love it and adore it, or they hate it. There are a ton of 1 stars, half stars, ruined by forced diversity. Stop making historical shows if you don't want to abide by history. And I agree with this. It is perfectly fine if you want to go and start your own franchise and write your own stories, and you can do whatever you want with those. But taking something that's supposed to be based off of history and completely changing the characters, the setting, whatever the case may be, is absurd. This review says, I like how the entertainment industry is going downhill nonstop. What are these cringe, horrible TV shows and movies? When you watch Vikings and then you watch this one, the content writing actors is just day and night. Just stop. And it is unfortunate that it seems like they put the least amount of effort they could into this series, because a lot of people did really like History's Viking series. It was really interesting. I personally stopped caring about it towards the end. I felt like it went from being this historical series to being just a soap opera. I wasn't a big fan of it by the end of it, but at the beginning I was really into it. And I feel like a lot of people were hoping that this series, Vikings Valhalla, was going to try to recapture the originality of the original Viking show, but of course it doesn't. Somebody said can't get past the virtue signaling. Someone gave it a 2-star and said sadly lost just about everything that made the original series so special. We are introduced to countless new characters, most with zero backstory, and are expected to care about their struggles. The original Vikings spent almost the whole first season slowly introducing Ragnar and his family and friends. As a result, the audience felt connected to their story. Such a shame. It is very disappointing that many people were pretty excited over this, and it ended up being a nothing burger yet again. Netflix does have some content that does hit and that is really good, but then they put out series like this which are just very disappointing. I usually find reviews like this very suspicious, whether they are on the 5-star side of things or the half-a-star side of things. People being very generic, saying, I can't wait for season 2. If you liked Vikings, you'll love this show, it's great. They're not explaining what they loved, if they loved the acting, the writing, if they loved a specific character and the way that they were portrayed. But at the same time, I also dislike the half-a-stars that just say, not good, very bad, do not watch. Give us some substance here. Say what the problem is, or say what you like about it. But of course, people are lazy and they just want to quickly put their opinions online. But this next review is a 1-star. I just wrapped up season 4 of The Last Kingdom, which was absolutely phenomenal. That said, after watching 2 full episodes of Valhalla, I have zero interest in any of the characters or viewing future episodes. It is a shame that they put the least amount of effort into this series that they could have, and it is a shame that they took these characters that are based on real people and they decided to race and gender swap them. Of course, while, again, the ratings are not as bad as the Anne Boleyn series, people are very clearly upset that they decided to go in this direction, and honestly, I am too. I'm not even going to waste my time watching this show at this point. It is a shame, because initially I thought it sounded like a cool concept, but this is the direction they decided to go in, and I am not going to waste my time with it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.